bearing of the state in this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, my lord. I'm appearing on behalf of accused number 1 in this matter.
Yes, Ms. Rabea.
Thank you. I'm appearing on behalf of accused 2.
Yes, Mr. Mp.
Both the case in the dock, my lord.
Yes.
My lord, I have taken the opportunity and I'm thankful to the court for the indulgence of forwarding or emailing my case to the court as well as to my learned friends and to my intellectual.
Yes.
My lord, I will briefly touch on the main aspects and the crux of my submissions. I will not entirely repeat all the summaries of each and every witness in this matter. I will begin, my lord, by touching on the what I call common cause issues in this trial. Mr. Makola, must I proceed?
No, just proceed.
With regard to
Actually, closing arguments are not interpreted to the accused. But what normally they do, they just give a brief summary of what actually happened. For also to the benefit of the people who attended court. Yes.
The common cause issues are as follows, my lord. It is common cause that the identity of the deceased is Sibusiso Sithebe, and that the deceased died on the 2nd of January 2022 as a result of brain wounds, as reported in the postmortem report of pathologists who had examined the deceased. It's common cause also that the deceased died in the marital home of accused number 1 and 2, which is situated in Soshanguve. It is also common cause that accused number 2 was alerted by a neighbor, Mahlangu, that her house was on fire. And then it is common cause that at some stage, accused number 2 then arrived at the marital home with accused number 1. It is also a common cause, my lord, that accused number 2, on the 29th of December 2021, he visited the address of the deceased in this case, and she obtained his number.
On the date? On which date?
29th of December 2021. The only aspect
So the other visits that came before the 29th,
yes, my lord,
but it was never disputed. Is it not common cause?
Indeed, it's also common cause, my lord.
So why are you mentioning the 29th? What's important about it?
Mentioning this one now is because on that day also the telephone number of the deceased was obtained by accused number 2.
Yeah, but the person who was in the company of accused number 2 is also in dispute.
That's why at this stage I'm dealing with the issues that are not in dispute.
The visit and the fact that telephone numbers were collected.
Indeed.
Yes.
And furthermore, it is also common cause, my lord, that there was communication between accused number 2 and the deceased on the 1st of January 2022, sorry, 2022, my lord, and the last call that was made to, or rather the last communication between accused number 2 and the deceased was at about 8 p.m. in the evening on that day. It is also common cause, my lord, that on the that this common cause that the deceased was buried as accused number 1 by the Mahlangu family, the in-laws of accused number 2, on the 8th of January 2022. Furthermore, it is common cause that following the burial of the deceased, both accused 1 and 2 did not have communication with Mrs. Mahlangu, and neither accused 1 and 2 visited Mrs. Mahlangu thereafter. It is also common cause, my lord, that during the first week of January 2022, accused 2 lodged insurance claims with Old Mutual, and the latter was paid. That is the latter of Mutual that is paid into accused number 2's account on the 7th of January 2022, 75,000 rand, and on the 3rd of February 2022, 500,000 rand. It is also further common cause that accused number one had knowledge of the existence of the funeral policies that were with, rather, of the life cover policy and the funeral cover that was held at Old Mutual. And it's also common cause that at no stage did accused number one alert Old Mutual or any authorities about him being alive subsequent to the incident that took place at his marital home, which he shared with accused two. It is also common cause, my lord, that accused 1 and 2 were renting a house from Mahlangu as from November 2021, as accused number 1 had since gotten employment at the Old Mutual branch in Mahlangu, and they were in the process of relocating to live with accused number 2 from Mahlangu. It is also common cause that when the deceased was killed on the 2nd of January 2022, at that stage the ID document belonging to accused number 1 had been kept in the motor vehicle that was shared between accused number 1 for some time. Just shared between accused number 1 and 2. My lord, then I will.
What is the status of accused number? What is the status of accused number 1 with the Home Affairs? Current status.
The current status is that he is no more. He's not alive. He's dead.
Even now.
Even I'm not sure even now, but then I think until that.
So why should you prosecute the dead person? But,
no, it's common.
But is there no need for that status to be changed?
I think that some documentation will have to be submitted, including his fingerprints, so that it can be changed.
Yeah, but you can only do that through a court application.
Indeed, madam, that's correct.
Maserabe.
My lord, we were informed that they were waiting for this matter to be finalized. Then after that, by the Home Affairs, I called. They said they'll wait for the matter to be finalized. Then after that is then that we can bring an application.
Yeah, but it's here. What precludes you to bring any application before or after the completion of this matter?
According to them, my lord, he's deceased and there are no documents before them that says he's alive. So they're waiting for the matter to be finalized. This one, then they can entertain us. But for now,
it's a very complex situation.
Correct, madam.
And then at prison?
At prison, I didn't check with them.
But they are using his names?
Yes, correct, madam.
Yes.
And then, my lord, can we proceed? At this stage, then the question will be, how is the evidence that has been laid in this matter demonstrated the link of the accused to the commission of the offences as indicated in counts 1 to 5. I'll still start to deal with the link of accused number 2.
Yes.
Accused number 1. Accused number 1. The common thread running in the evidence of Captain Molefe, of Shimi, the brother of the accused, of Lieutenant Colonel Molefe, as well as Colonel Lerato, is that the accused admitted to having killed the deceased at his house. During cross-examination, the accused, as much as accused number 1, that is, did not dispute having said so, he came up with the justification of having said that in the first place, of another ways of incriminating himself. The court has already ruled that the statements made to Captain Molefe.
Yeah, but that's interlocutory rulings.
Indeed, madam.
That can be interfered with at any time.
Yes, madam. I'm just as a matter of passing through.
Yes.
I want to submit, madam, respectfully, that At the time that Captain Molefe interacted with the accused, it was unknown to him. There is no reason to believe that Captain Molefe falsely implicated him in him having made an oral statement to him, implicating himself in the matter of the deceased. Even when accused contended, that is accused number one, that Captain Molefe had met his family, specifically Lizzie, that is far-fetched, because the very first question that Lizzie posed to the accused, which was asked 3 times to him, was Sinwabeban, to which he failed to give a reply. There's no way, therefore, that Lizzie could have informed Captain Molefe that there was somebody that was buried who was other than the accused before court. Therefore, I will respectfully submit that the denial of accused of having made such a statement, it is just nothing else but a smooth screen so as to escape criminal liability in respect of, firstly, count 1. And furthermore, if one looks at the evidence of Shimi, that is the accused brother, as a police officer, who had visited him, at that very moment, the accused was at liberty to narrate the story to him, and he implicated himself of having killed the deceased and thereafter running away to Skirle. That is his brother. He could have taken him into his confidence, and the contention by accused number 1 was that when Captain Molefe told him or dictated a statement to him, he said to him, from now onwards, this is what you should be saying to the police. But in the case of Shimi, he was not a police officer in that sense, because he's a brother to accused number 1. Therefore, at least he could have taken him into his confidence and say, I never killed anyone, or exactly tell him as to what had happened, which made him to go away until he was then arrested. And once again, with respect of Lieutenant Colonel Molefe, accused went even to an extent of even telling him that after killing the deceased, he was even viewing his Facebook page, and you will see people saying, rest in peace. And that further strengthens the submission, my lord, that it is accused who had voluntarily given the information to, or admitted to Captain Molefe, admitted to Shimi, and further then admitting to killing the deceased, and even adding more information to Lieutenant Colonel Molefe during the administration or the taking of the warning statement. And same was also done to Lieutenant Colonel Litweni when the pointing out was done. Therefore, insofar as the count of murder, my lord, the first count in relation to accused number 1, I submit respectfully that it has been demonstrated, or rather it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt, that accused number 1 committed the crime in question through the self-incriminatory evidence or admissions he made to the police and his environment.
What is the effect of giving a false confession or a false statement? Because if you look at a trend, whatever he told Shimi, whatever he told Molefe, whatever he told Litweni, whatever he told Captain Molefe, whatever he told Chande, they're not the same.
Indeed, my lord, I agree, but
even though the central issue is that he killed the deceased.
Indeed, my lord, I think as the accused would narrate the story to different people for one or the other reason, which I cannot be able to say why, he was not consistently mentioning the facts, although then the common thread is that he had killed the deceased. I cannot take it further as to why there will be inconsistencies or there will be variations.
Because at one stage he said, no, I strangled the deceased. At another stage he will say, no, I used a 2-liter bottle. But what is important is the pathological findings at the time of postmortem.
Indeed, I was going to come to that.
That the deceased was still alive.
I beg your pardon?
That the deceased was still alive.
Yes, indeed.
When he was burned.
Indeed, my lord. And it's clear that the deceased was incapacitated. And then from the pointing out notes of Lieutenant Mdntv, accused had gone out of their house, brought back with him petrol, and then doused the deceased with it, and then set him on fire. Hence, then the confirmation by the doctor that that is the pathologist that the cause of death was the burn wounds.
And then
Even if
the clothes were smelling of petrol or paraffin.
indeed, my lord,
Which clothes was he referring to? Because the deceased, when he's lying there, is only wearing boxer shorts.
my lord, I didn't take that issue up with the doctor. Probably that's the close the
Or he
deceased came up with.
was referring to the garment in which he received the deceased with.
Yes, at the state mortuary.
Yes.
And also critically important, my lord, is that the deceased was so heavily inebriated, as it is been seen in the blood specimen.
Where are the blood results? I didn't see them.
My lord, if you can look at the report of the NHL National Laboratory.
Yes, I was looking at it because the pathologist referred to that report. What exhibit is it? Was it handed in as an
It
exhibit?
was handed in as an exhibit. That's the report, my lord, that talks about the hemoglobin levels in the
Yeah, but where's that report?
the carbon monoxide level in the hemoglobin of the
Yes.
deceased.
Where is it?
It was handed.
But it was handed in as a report.
Yes, I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it in my exhibits. Was it handed in, Ms. Raven?
It was handed in, my lord.
It was handed in.
F. I don't have F. You only have the original with you. I don't have. Or is part of the main. Okay, I thought it came after the admissions, so it's part of the admissions. Yes. Yes, you may proceed.
So the findings by the pathologist, my lord, is consistent with the admission made by the accused that he had set the deceased on fire. Then furthermore, my lord, when one looks at the evidence further as to the different roles performed by accused number 1 and 2, subsequent to the deceased being set on fire by accused number 1 and him leaving or running away thereafter, and accused number 2 having been called, she came to the scene and she was probed or asked to do the identification. The identification that was done by accused number 2 was that the person on the bed was accused number 1, whereas at the time, the person on the bed, in fact, it was the deceased, not accused number 1. And in her evidence, my lord, she averred that the identification that she did was through the ring. Yes, was through the ring, the wedding ring of the accused number 1. She could not clarify as to what was so unique and particular about this ring. I would respectfully submit, my lord, that such an identification done through a ring is false, as it has been shown. The deceased in this case, as well as accused number one. We will
But what I didn't understand is her evidence that after arriving back from Mahlangu, at a gate where the police officers were, he said this accused number one was there in the house without even seeing who was that person.
Indeed, madam, that is
I
possible.
think a logical thing for the person to have done was to say, let me first see who's there so that I can identify whether is it my husband or not who's here. And taking mindful of the fact that he was not there when all these things were happening. He's traveling from a long distance. And then when she enters there, she sees the ring and it's dark, the smoke, according to her version. And then you conclude to say that no, it's accused number one.
And insofar as that aspect is concerned, my lord, talking about somebody who is injured or who is in such a difficult position, for me, and my lord, I was going to submit, it doesn't make sense that you may already be coming to a conclusion or be of the view that it was accused number one until and only when you actually look at the face of the person and be able to come to that conclusion. And in this instance, when accused number one or number two, the special submit was called upon to make the identification, that is something very serious. And before you can even begin to say, this is Sibusiso, my husband, or Sibusiso, my ex-boyfriend, considering that she had knowledge about these two individuals, she had known the deceased for about 11 years. She had known accused number two for about 5 years. She had lived with both of them in the very same house at some stage. Therefore, I will respectfully submit that identification that was made by accused number two was deliberately made as because no one can identify any particular individual by looking at a specific item. Logically and sensibly, the identification which is proper is when one looks at the physical appearance of an individual, and that will, among others, include the facial appearance. I would tie with that, my lord, this identification is by accused number two, is that the deceased, when it's found on the bed of the marital home of accused number one and two, she had the ring of accused number one. The question will be, how did that ring?
Yeah, but how can we say with certainty that it was his ring?
My lord, I'm accepting when the accused number two says that was the ring of accused number one.
Yeah, but she failed to even define or explain why is she saying that, because he says there's nothing peculiar you can say about that ring.
My lord, what makes me to think along those lines or submit that that was the ring of accused number one, it is because then, as I preferred the charge of conspiracy, in order for this to fit, you had to place a specific item on the finger of the deceased so that if he's bent beyond recognition, then at least accused number two, when she arrives at the scene, she can be able to say, I'm doing the identification because this particular ring belongs to accused number one.
Who bought the ring?
I beg your pardon?
Who bought the ring?
The ring was bought by accused number two. She has admitted that it's her who bought it.
Yes.
And I'm therefore further submitting, my lord, that the role of accused number ones and twos are in relation to certain aspects so as to implement this elaborate scheme of killing the deceased and thereafter claiming the insurance monies. And having been able to show, my lord, that accused number one killed the deceased, then accused number two having come on the scene, identifying him. Following that, then there were insurance claims that were lodged successfully, and accused number one had did what I call self-imposed exile by going away and staying away from his mother and making sure that there's no communication. So did accused number two as well, as opposed to their past conduct of visiting Mahlangu every 2 weeks or calling in. But ever since the death or the killing of deceased in this case, both of them from the in-laws in respect of accused number two, and in respect of number one from his own family. furthermore, with respect to accused number one, my lord, it was his evidence that he cared for his children, but we know for a fact that he made it a point that there was no contact or visits or any communication with the children. Notwithstanding the fact that he claims that he loved his children, his conduct or cared for his children, his conduct showed otherwise. With regard to the proved facts, my lord, I would like to touch on the following. And I'm of the view that as much there is no direct evidence that shows the involvement of accused number 1 and 2 in the conspiracy, as well as the offences of fraud in respect of conspiracy.
Yeah, but what are you saying about self-incriminating statements that you made?
No, in relation to the self-incriminating statements, my lord, I'm saying that sustains a ruling, or rather, it sustains the submission, my submission that accused number 1 is guilty of the crime of murder.
Yeah, but if I come to the conclusion that I did not interfere with my ruling in respect of the admissibility thereof, can I still treat this matter as circumstantial evidence?
No, my lord. So far as account 1 is concerned, I'm saying because of the self.
No, I'm talking about the killing of the deceased.
Yes, I'm saying it's not circumstantial. There is self-incriminatory evidence in that respect.
Yeah, but that was not your argument before I asked you this question.
All right, maybe I didn't come across so clearly, but that is my argument that because of self-incriminatory evidence, the count 1 has been proven against accused number 1. But now I want to show as to how circumstantial evidence will show the involvement of accused number 2 as well in respect of that, as well as the involvement of accused number 1 in the other counts as well, that is 2, 3, 4, and 5. But before I deal with that, my lord,
yeah, before you deal with it, it's now 2 minutes past 1. What are we supposed to do? Are we breaking and then come back?
Can I just hear from
Yeah, but you must be mindful of the fact that all these people have been here since 10 o'clock.
Maybe
We have never taken a break.
Maybe we should adjourn that.
For how long? How long? It's Friday.
30 minutes?
Is it fine?
Or 40? 55?
You want a full hour? You want a full hour? How long? 45 minutes. 30. Mr. Fayez?
Depends on me, I said we can go on.
Yeah, but it seems everybody needs a break. 30 minutes, is it fine? May cool. It's fine. Yes. Who else? And the accused must also eat. Yeah. So we'll come back at 25 to 2. Yes.
Milan, staan we op rising for money.
Number 1. Because Miss Mahlangu was present when this ring was brought. So she can say with certainty that that ring belongs to number 1.
That evidence was disputed, my lord. Yes, she said that, but you disputed that because what is that unique
So
thing?
what confirmation are you talking about?
Let me say there is testimony before this court, not confirmation. There is testimony before this court. But the question was, what is that unique thing that you can say before this court that exactly this was the real
Okay,
accused number 1?
let's take the evidence of accused now. The person who got it.
Even when it's accused number 2, we
It says the ring belongs to accused number 1.
yes, but my lord,
Let's accept that the evidence is true. How did it come that it happened to be on the hand of the deceased? The person who's not even staying there.
my lord, that one we cannot answer because accused number 1 testified that I left the ring there. So as to what happened to the ring, accused number 1 do not know.
So
And even-
the deceased when he came there, he fitted it because he was
How,
drunk.
how do we know that it was the name of accused number one, my lord?
No, there's confirmation by Ms. Mahlangu.
But they're not sure. They're just saying because the ring is exactly like accused number one ring. They're not sure.
He doesn't know where his ring is. I just
He
know.
left it in the house, but as to what happened to it, he cannot say. She also testified that she identified accused through his boxer short, because the boxer short that the deceased was wearing was exactly like the one of accused number one, which she used to wash in 2020 when the accused was sick. My lord, how many boxer shorts are sold at the shops that are the same? What is it
Yeah,
that
but
is special?
don't treat evidence inside solution. What is accused number 2 saying about the boxer?
Accused number two said it was not his boxer. You said that, my
It
lord.
says
You disputed
it
it.
looks the same as of accused number 1.
Accused number one.
Accused number 2. Yeah.
So that does not mean that it's accused number one's boxer.
But you mustn't look evidence in isolation. Look evidence in relation to other aspects that they've been discussed.
Upon hearing that, Mrs. Mahlangu, upon hearing that the accused is alive, she visited him at New York. Mrs. Mahlangu visited accused number one at New York. Accused number one when he was at New York, Mrs. Mahlangu asked him, he said, I want to speak to quote him, to quote her. She asked her as to what you did was wrong, what happened. The accused number one said, I was protecting the family. But not the police officers were not there in New York. It was only Mrs. Mahlangu and the accused. If the accused wanted to tell the...
But wasn't Lizzie there?
Pardon?
Lizzie?
Yes, but what I'm saying is the police officers were not there, which means it was, let's say it was the family and accused
So
number
it was
one.
a chance for accused
It
number
was-
1 to tell the truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
But my lord, because the police officers were there, accused number one just said, because it was
We're
only the
talking about
family.
a Christian where he visited,
New
where
York.
she visited New York.
Yes.
The police were not there.
It was only the family and accused number one.
Yes.
The accused number one said, I was protecting the family. That's the only statement that she gave.
Yes.
My argument is that, my submission, my lord, is that,
And Ms. Mahlangu didn't even understand
yes,
what was accused.
exactly.
Yes.
My argument is that,
Why on that occasion didn't he explain?
on the what?
On that occasion when he was...
Yes, I'm coming there, my argument, my submission is that if accused number one wanted to tell the very same story, that the statement that he's been telling all the witnesses, the police officers, it was easy for him to say that, to tell that statement. But because this time the police were not there, there was nothing that prevented her, that forced him
Yeah, but-
to tell Mrs. Mahlangu that statement.
Despite the fact that the police were not there, Ms. Mahlangu left without getting answers. And to me, it doesn't make sense.
He was protecting the family, my lord, in a sense.
When I say I was protecting, and I don't understand, it's not upon me to explain to you that no, why I'm saying that I was protecting you. It's because of this, the police were forcing me to say that the family is involved in the whole thing. So I took it myself that I protect the family and admitted that I did the thing that I didn't do.
It's true, my lordship. He protected the family in a sense that if he didn't say the statement that the police asked him to say, the family was going to be arrested, as he was told.
Yeah, but,
he was protecting
but
the family.
let's be honest. Ms. Mahlangu doesn't even know what statement he made.
Yes.
And he comes there to visit his own child because he was told that he's now alive. He want to understand what happened. He said, no, I was protecting the family.
Correct, madam.
Yeah, why don't there and explain to Ms. Mahlangu what I mean about this? It is because police forced me to make statement. And they threatened me to arrest every member of the family. That's the fact that I made this statement.
At that time, my lord, the accused felt it proper to say, I was just protecting the family. She didn't explain more because that's what that's the statement that you wanted to tell the Mrs. Mahlangu. But my submission is that, my lord, if you wanted to lie, if you wanted to further that woman's statement, you are still going to lie and tell remember it was the first time they met Mrs. Mahlangu. And he didn't tell Mrs. Mahlangu those stories that he later narrated to other people, but he always said, I was protecting the family.
The first thing one is always Mahlangu cried.
He cried.
Why was he crying? Because he was taking the heat for the food.
My lord, he cried. It was for the first time that he met Mrs. Mahlangu after everything that happened.
I know the evidence. He was taking the heat for the family.
Yes.
The first thing what he did when he saw Miss Mahlangu was to cry. Why was he crying?
It was for the first time they met after all this that happened.
Yeah, but nobody precluded him to go and visit Mrs. Mahlangu. Nobody prevented him to go and visit Mrs. Mahlangu. He was nearby, stone throw, Hamas crab.
Yeah,
Never bothered to go there.
about that, my lord, as to how we handle pressure differs. As to how I react differs.
Yeah, but don't place yourself into the foot of the. We argue according to the evidence presented. Ms. Mahlangu says a week can hardly go by without accused number one phoning or coming to visit. Now we are talking a period of more than a year. No phone call, no visit, nothing. He goes to Hamaskra, which is closer, according to his own account, which is closer to Soshanguve. And he doesn't go and board. And those people have a cordial relationship. They had a good relationship.
Accused number one testified that, my lord, the reason why he did that is because he wanted space, he wanted to find himself.
Yeah.
That is why he didn't go to, he didn't contact
So
any of his
when
friends.
was this going to come to an end?
We don't know how long it was going to take, my lord, for him to get to
So if it
have
was
space.
not for the arrest
Which means, my lord, he will still be.
for 10 years,
We cannot say that, my lord, but on the other side, my lord, he cannot be punished for, accused cannot be blamed or punished for having space for himself. The evidence of Liz, my lord. Liz is the first person to go to Timber after the accused after the accused was arrested. Is the first person to arrive. My lord, there is evidence. Liz testified that when I arrived at the police station, there's a police officer that I met. I explained everything to that police officer, and then even after
why did she explain to the police?
she said. She testified that I explained everything to the police officer about what happened. She specifically said about what happened.
About the area.
About what happened. She said about what happened. Then even after when after the visit, she left with this police officer. She explained she said I explained everything to this police officer. We are talking about the member of SAPS here.
Yeah, but why you say everything? What does that entail?
About the burial, the deceased, that they buried somebody thinking that it's accused number one.
Yes, and then when she asked the accused number one, who did we bury?
Yes.
3 times. What was the answer?
Accused number one said, I'll explain everything when I leave here, when I'm out.
And she was not satisfied. That's why she asked that question 3 times.
My point is that, my lord, at that time, SAPS didn't know what happened. Lizzie got a chance to discuss this with the first police officer that she made. And accused number one, my lord, at that time, didn't relate the statement because at that time, accused number one was not aware that he is the deceased. He just said, I'll explain everything about after I'm out.
Yeah, but
if
she didn't know that you are putting it now, that he was deceased, you would have been surprised. So what are you talking about? Yeah. But he says to Lizzie when he is making inquiries, he says, no, I I'll explain when I'm out of here. What are you going to explain that you don't know?
Is it in ask me, my lord?
He said, who did you bury? And
That's
said,
the only question that he asked.
yes.
At the time, accused number one testified that I was confused because I was not aware that I was the
No,
deceased.
that's not what he said.
He said I was frightened.
Please, he said, I asked this question, and he said 3 times. And then he said, I'll explain when I'm released.
Yes.
Who did we pay? That question was
Was not
direct.
answered.
If he didn't know, accused, he should have asked for clarification. What are you doing? What are you talking about? But now he says, without Lizzie explaining to her, to him, I'm sorry, what does it mean about the burial of another person? He said, no, when I come out. What does that mean? Is it not admission by conduct?
It's not, my lord, it's not admission because he was also shocked. He testified that
When
I was
did
also
you get
shocked.
that?
I was
No, no, no.
I was frightened.
No. When he saw this, but when this question was asked, did she mention that he was frightened?
The question, when the question was asked, he didn't answer.
Yes.
It's on record.
Yes.
But then the fact that he testified that I was also shocked about that by that question because I was not aware that I was
That's not
deceased.
evidence, Mr. With due respect, that's not evidence. That's not evidence.
He said he was frightened. He was also surprised what he was talking about.
Was it too easy?
Yes. It was too easy.
Yes.
Lizzie testified that he spoke to after lunch on the first day of January 2021. 2022. She spoke to accused number 1 and 2 late in the evening. Accused number 1 told him that I arrived safe at home. The question was asked, which home? Lizzie said, I thought it's block 86, Soshanguve HH. And accused number 1 never said I arrived safe at Soshanguve HH. Lizzie confirmed that I thought he was talking about Soshanguve HH.
Yeah, but they didn't go to block HH.
But around 7, he was no longer at HH.
No, after dropping the car, they didn't go to
He
block
went
HH.
straight to the house, but around the time when we were talking with Liz, he was no longer at HH.
Yeah, but why didn't he add that was put to Liz?
He was asked, the question was asked as to where, home, which home. He said, I thought it's block HH, it's Soshanguve.
Your question was asked where?
Yes.
Why didn't you put the version that at that stage, accused number 1 was no longer there?
The question was why, which house?
Yes, I can still
Yes.
remember the question. And
Then
he
she said-
said he thought that when he says home,
Yes.
why did he not put to Lizzie? No, by that time, he was already at Silverton or somewhere else.
Lizzie testified that, my lord, after the house burned, after the body was taken from the scene, the police said you can now go inside the house. They went inside the house, it was her, Mrs. Mahlangu, and accused number 2. She said they started looking for the personal belongings. The personal belongings, they found the wallet. They didn't find the wallet, they didn't find the cell phone. Yes. My submission is that, my lord, if accused number 1 wanted to fake his death, if accused number 1 wanted people to believe that he is the one that passed on, those are the serious items that were supposed to be found at the scene. He was supposed to leave those items at the scene. But to show that his intention, he didn't have intention of taking them. He took all those 2 things.
Yeah, because he knew that there was money in the wallet. Why
But
should you leave 7,000 in the wallet?
you can take,
I can't leave 7,000 in the
you
wallet.
can still take money and leave the wallet so that people can think that it was you.
Yeah, you know.
The wallet can be.
Yeah, what about the tree? Where the ID is there?
The ID was in the car. So My submission is that
Where was the cell phone?
the cell phone was with him.
Yes.
He left with it. So if you wanted to fix
But you are
it,
dead. You remember you are dead. Remember you are dead. Everybody is under the perception that you died. Why move around with those things?
that is what I'm saying to you, my lord. If you wanted to fake his death, those things, those two items were supposed to be found at the scene, in that fire, but they were not there to show that he didn't have an intention of faking his death. He kept them to himself.
Yes.
And the reason, the issue of the ring, my lord, he testified that he left the ring because it was a symbol of their relationship with accused number one, with accused number two. So she just left it because she didn't want anything to do
Yeah,
with
but
that.
why didn't he give that to accused number 2 when he parted ways with him?
But what if, at that time, what if she was not sure that he was going to leave? He went straight to the house.
No.
If he wanted to leave,
No, when he came out of, in fact, when he went to Soshanguve, a large gathering, he already made his mind about this relationship with accused number 2. Why don't you just take the ring? The ring is like this. Why don't you take just the ring and give it to accused number 2?
in as much as he didn't tell accused number two that I'm now, I want to take space, I'm going to leave you for some time. It happened like that. He didn't give it to him, to her, and he didn't tell accused number one that, accused number two that I'm now leaving you. I'm going to go where you don't know, because to have space. I'll go back to the issue of Lizzie talking to this police officer, my lord.
What is the police officer saying?
Lizzie just said, upon arrival, I approached one of the police officers who took me to the police service, and I was explaining everything to this police officer. It was not mentioned as to the police officer. The reason why I'm raising this point again is because here's the person that narrated the story to is a police officer. And my lord, if you hear something like this when you're a police officer, it is easy for you to discuss it with other police officers. There is evidence before this court that Captain Molefe was not aware of what happened to accused number one. Captain Molefe went to the cells not being aware of what is going on. And Captain Molefe didn't know about the death.
Which state are you referring to?
On the 17th.
Yeah, but they already did the PIVA. What?
Not really.
PIVA it's a PIVA.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why established that the accused is dead.
On the 17th, when I'm correct to, I'm subject to correction. The day that
He didn't know
went
about
to,
he didn't know about the incident.
yes,
But he knew already when accused fingerprints were taken that he's been declared dead by all of us.
and then the reason why Captain Molefe knew about the issue of what happened is because there is no evidence before this court that says accused somebody told Captain Molefe about what happened, but my lord, Captain Molefe during
What is the evidence of Captain?
the evidence of Captain Molefe, the evidence of Captain Molefe is that he went to the cells to verify. I even asked to if he went to the cells to talk to interview the accused number one. The court even assisted. I would say he was saying to interview the accused, but it was an informal interview. The question was asked. I asked as to you, Captain, did you went there because there was information that you had? He said yes. I also asked that you went there to confirm the information that you had. He said yes. I said through that information, that informal information, So I even said, was it fruitful to you? He said, yes, it was fruitful. I asked further that, and that fruitful information led to the arrest of accused number 1 the following day. He said yes. So Captain Molefe went to the cells knowing as to what happened to accused number 1. He went to...
Molefe opened a fraud case based on the plea.
It's true that one.
And he obtained a statement. In fact, he didn't obtain a statement from accused, but he wrote a statement relating to his interaction with the accused. Are you interested in this?
No.
Yes.
Captain Molefe opened the case of fraud. At the time, he testified that he was not aware of the issue of rape, of the case of rape. And he went there for an informal interview.
When was the fraud case?
The following day, on the 18th. According to
Was it
Captain
after the visit of...
Yes, and
Yes.
she.
No, they didn't come on the same.
She came on the 18th in the morning. Lizzie came on the 17th.
Yes, that's why I'm asking you, when was the fraud case?
On the 18th.
After which visit?
After she.
What time did she visit?
It was before going to court. It was in the morning before going to court. Around 9, 10.
Around 9.
Yes.
And do you have the statement of Captain Molefe? Let me read it for you, because it will take you a whole hour. I'll read it for you. You said she came on the 18th.
Yes, in the morning.
On the 18th. On Monday, on the 17th April 2023, at approximately 1600 hours in the afternoon, I was officially on duty, in the detective service center. I received an information that there was a black lady named Sibusiso Mahlangu, whom his family visited him in the police cell. And the same member of the family informed Constable Mdntv that they know Sibusiso being dead and buried somewhere. I approached Vincent Sibusiso Mahlangu in the police cell and met him. I introduced myself to him and interviewed him about the allegation about in the family, whatever knew him being dead. He was cool and calm. He firstly denied and he secondly told me that he wanted to test me. That was on the second. Where does Shimi fit in here?
But if you still remember, the question was asked to Captain Molefe as to what day was the 17th.
Yeah, but that's the statement that he made on the 18th, when the event was still fresh.
On the 18th.
Yes, it's commissioned on the 18th. At 18:30.
But according to his evidence, is that she came after Liz, a day after Liz, before accused number 1 was taken to court. That's the evidence before this court.
Yeah, but what is he saying in the statement?
What is who?
Molefe.
Molefe,
I get that just right now. He said he went there on the 17th, and that's when it got put. And your argument is that it was only after she came in.
Can you proceed? Can you read the statement to check when was she at the station? Because she was on the 18th.
Yeah, but it doesn't talk about she.
She was at the police station on the 18th.
Your contention is that they only came on the 17th. It talks about the event of the 17th.
My lord, on the 17th it was Monday.
Yes.
On the 18th it was Tuesday.
That's when she married.
Lizzie came on the 17th, which is Monday.
Yeah.
She came on the 17th, which is Tuesday. There is no way that.
No, on Monday, the 17th, that's the statement. So Tuesday will be the 18th.
Correct, my lord. She came on Tuesday.
So this statement is not based on what he heard Shimi and accused speaking about. He talks about his own interaction with her. And that was on the 17th.
That statement, my lord, the testimony of Captain Molefe, we can go back to the records. I used when I was preparing this, my lord, I went back to the transcripts. I was using the transcripts when I prepared this.
And then?
Yes, the evidence that is before court is that on the 17th, Lizzie went to police station. On the 18th, that's where she approached
The thing is that you are mixing things. I'm talking about the statement that was made by Captain.
his statement. Are you talking about his statement?
The statement that he did, the one that it was a subject of a trial within a trial.
But my lord, the evidence before this court is that on the 18th, she went to police station. On the 18th, not on the 17th.
So what is the problem?
The issue here, my lord, is that Captain Molefe wanted
I'm
to
saying
give.
to you that in that statement, Captain Molefe talks about this interaction with
With Mahlangu.
Maneze and accused. Where was she?
My lord, the submission before this court is that there is evidence before this court that Captain Molefe didn't know about the death of accused number 1. There is that submission before, there is that evidence before this court.
No, this is where was the PIVA test?
The PIVA, yes, he did the PIVA.
And then what was the outcome?
He even said he found that the fingers were rotten. That's what he said.
Yeah, but he was declared dead.
Yes. But
So, why are you saying he didn't know that accused number 1 was dead?
my lord, there is when he was cross-examined by the state wanted to know as to how Captain Molefe didn't know accused number 1. So there was at that time, it was only, even the court assisted, it was only the case of
Yeah, but you
accident.
must remember it was on Sunday, according to Molefe, when he was on standby. When all these things came with Manez and other things. Here I'm talking about the interaction that he had with the accused, according to this. So Shimi hasn't yet arrived at the time of this interaction. Because according to your own submission, you said Shimi only came
On the 18th.
Yes. That was my nature of your engagement, my engagement. Not about the transcript and other things. Yes.
My submission before this court, actually the reason why I raised this issue of Lizzie talking to someone is because I wanted to explain before this court that there was that information that accused passed on. So Captain Molefe went to interview accused number 1. The interview that he said it was an informal interview. Then he said at that time, accused number 1 was not a suspect. He was just investigating. Remember, my lord,
Accused was arrested on a different case.
yes, he was in the cells
So
because of another
this
case.
fraud case was opened by Captain.
Yes. Remember, my lord, the issue here is the statement that was made by Captain Molefe. We raised an issue that information that was obtained from accused number 1 was not voluntarily obtained under influence, all those things. The reason why I'm saying this, my lord, it is because he said, I interviewed accused number 1 because he was not a suspect. It was an informal interview. And I didn't give him his rights. I didn't explain his rights because he was It was an informant, and he was not a suspect at that time. I was just doing my investigations. He obtained this information. I further asked that this informant interview, that was it fruitful to you? He said yes. The very same information that you got from this informant information, I further asked, is it the very same information that made you to arrest accused number one the following day? He said yes. Remember, my lord, here, we said whatever information whatever statement that was made before this court, before Captain Molefe, was not properly obtained. So this information was not properly obtained in the sense that...
Yeah, but he never obtained any statement.
He obtained the statement in the sense that, my lord...
No, he never obtained any statement. The statement was a subject of trial within a trial. It's not like you state. It's the Captain Molefe statement narrating his interaction with her. Because when the state wanted to introduce it, there was an objection. And it was said, no, it's a confession. It's only after I ruled in his admission that when I read it, it's not even nearer to what we were, the exercise that we embarked on. Because it is his statement, which was supposed to have been, established through cross-examination. So for this court to make a credibility finding against it.
Okay, my lord, can I put it like this? There was an interview that was not that informal interview.
When accused was not even a suspect.
When that accused was not even the suspect. And as a result of this informal interview, that the very same interview that Captain Molefe confirmed that I didn't explain his life because I was just investigating. There is information that he managed to elicit from accused number one. And that information, he confirmed that it's the one that led to the arrest of accused number one the following day. What I'm saying about that information, because it was not properly obtained from accused number one. And that information, the very same information, led to his arrest the following day.
You want to say?
The reason why I was raising this informal is because of the information obtained led to arrest, which was not properly obtained from accused number one. We have information from, we have evidence from Surprise Mdntv, who is Shimi. Shimi testified before this court, my lord, that upon arrival at the chamber, he met Captain Molefe, who took him to the police cells. They brought accused number one. Shimi testified that it was Captain Molefe, it was Shimi, it was Shadi, it was accused number one. Two police officers in uniform, two police officers with civilian clothing. Yes. The question was even asked, how big was this office? My lord, in this small office as it is, Captain Molefe was there and these police officers. According to, it's our evidence before this court that they were there to listen to what accused number one was.
Yeah, but you must remember the 3 uniform officers.
Yeah, they were in and out. Yes, but
and whose request were they there?
It's Shimi's request for Captain Molefe. Shimi requested Captain Molefe to be in
He
there.
said he wanted protection.
Exactly. But then, my lord, my question, the submission is this. This is a small office. Captain Molefe, yes, he was allowed to, he was supposed to be in there because Shimi asked.
Yeah, but the 2 officers in civilian clothes, those are the ones who remained throughout this visit by Shimi and Shadi. The other ones were in and out. Yeah.
The submission is that the office was small, but there were so many police officers going in and out. And the question was even asked as to is there anything that was done in that office, but the answer was no.
And it's a special treatment that was given to her.
It was not a special treatment.
It is, because if you visit a person in cells, you go to those cells. Because he was given an office. That doesn't happen unless it's legal consultation.
By our submission, my Lord, state, it was not a special treatment, it was because they went in there so that they can listen to what accused number one was telling his brother.
They were not interested until,
That's what they say.
until they were invited by Shimi to remain in attendance.
That's what they said, my Lord, that they were not interested. Remember when Captain Molefe was asked? Captain Molefe said during their conversation, I could see that accused number one was frightened and he was shaky and he wanted to cry.
Yeah, but it's only after he saw his film.
Yeah, he said,
All throughout he was calm.
no, my Lord.
Calm and collected.
A day before was calm and collected.
Yes.
But when she was there, he was shaky,
Yes,
he was frightened.
And it started after seeing Liz.
Yes. Then what I'm bringing to this point is that Captain Molefe said, I was in and out. I stayed for 5 to 6 minutes. I was in and out because I was waking. But his testimony was that during the conversation, he appeared to be shaky and frightened and wanted to cry. I further asked, so you were listening to the conversation? He said, no, I was not listening to the conversation. I asked that question until this court assisted that during the court said during the welcoming. He was saying during the interaction, the court said during the welcoming. Then he said yes, during the welcoming. I even said a lot, you are evasive, Captain, you don't want to answer questions. He was saying during the conversation, you cannot talk about the conversation when you're not listening to people when they were talking. He only rectified that when the court was
But I can
during the
sit in
welcoming.
the same room whilst you are talking to Mr. Mdntv. If I'm not interested in them, can I say what you were talking about?
But he gave this court the impression that he was not listening at all. He was not listening at all. So the reason why they were in that office, it is because they wanted to confirm if he's telling exactly what Captain Molefe told him to say.
No, that's not it.
That's the
The
evidence.
evidence is that it is at the request of Shim that they remain in.
Yeah, that one is our.
That's what Shimi and
Yes, she said.
Molefe are saying.
But
What was that traversed?
Yes, but during accused number one.
What's your transcript? Was that traversed?
Yes, my Lord.
Wow.
It was put to the Captain Molefe that you were listening. That is why you went in there in that office. Small office as it was, it's because you were listening to the info, to what you were saying. And my Lord, to confirm what you are saying, immediately when she left, they took a Shimi's statement. This shows that the reason why they were in the office, they wanted to hear what accused number one was going to say to Shimi, so that they can have a statement of Shimi. And immediately they got the statement. That statement that assisted this court today.
Assisted with what?
Shimi testified that accused number one said he was fighting with the deceased. All the statement that he said.
So how did he assist this court?
He assisted the state because he was the witness in this court.
I must make a determination. Nobody is found guilty.
My apologies, my Lord, for saying that, but I wanted to say that the other statement is the one that the state used to in this court as a testimony.
Anything else relating to Shimi?
Let's go to the evidence of Captain Molefe. Captain Molefe testified that on the 17th he went to the police cells to accused number one. That interview that was informal is the one that I wanted to talk about. He explained the informal interview and explained that he didn't explain the rights to accused number one, yet he got information. I already mentioned that, my Lord. And there was evidence from accused number one that Captain Molefe, during the interaction with accused number one, my Lord, Captain Molefe said to accused number one, what happened? Accused number one tried to explain that I left from on the 1st to Silverton, all those things, that information. But accused number 1, Captain Molefe said, no, don't tell me that information. And there's evidence before this court that Captain Molefe forced accused number 1 to say, promised that if you relate your story the way I'm going to tell you, your family will not be arrested. That's the promise.
I'm now looking at the time. It's now 22. How long are you speaking? You must remember that Mr. Mpela is not there.
But remember, accused number 1 is the one that is...
No, I'm asking time. Because
I still have 4 pages, 1, 2, 6 pages.
about she.
About the whole evidence.
Yes, please. Mr. Mpela must also get in.
So, my God, why are you saying I should stop?
No. Proceed. But it's now 22. And the accused must be at the cell at 3:30. Mr. Mpela is in its time. And we are located 1 day for this.
No, my Lord, you are...
No, you must summarize.
I'm summarizing.
You have the evidence that everybody knows.
I'm summarizing, my Lord. I'm really...
Look at how Mr. I'm not saying you must copy his style, but look at how Mr. Chavalala did his things. It's not...
My Lord, last time you said you are talking, you are engaging with us because we have notes in front of us, we do not forget. So I'm going according to my notes.
Yes,
so
but please complete.
My Lord, I have 6 pages.
Yeah, go through them 6
Thank you.
pages.
There's evidence before this court that accused number 1 informed this court, testified that Captain Molefe is the one that gave him the statement to say before this court. He told him that if you tell this court, if you give this statement to everyone that is interviewing you, that any police officer, your family is not going to be arrested. There is also evidence from accused number 1 that statement is not his statement. It is what he was told by Captain Molefe. And his right was not explained by Captain Molefe. And during cross-examination, he was even asked if he did caution accused number 1 about the statement. He said no. The other thing, Captain Molefe, when he gave his testimony, he didn't mention that he was with other 2 civilians and with other 2 police officers with uniform. He only mentioned that there were 4, my lord. And that evidence was confirmed by surprise. And even accused number 1 said it was not only them. So this shows, my lord, that Captain Molefe had the intention of maintaining this court. We testify about the statement of Fanuel Molefe. Fanuel Molefe received a call from Colonel Mahlangu to go and take statement of fraud. Upon arrival, accused number 1 testified that he was not, the rights were not explained again. But Colonel Molefe testified that I went there to take the statement of fraud. When I was busy taking statement, he spoke about the statement that of killing someone. The question was asked during cross-examination, you were there for fraud, but the person is giving you the statement that he's implicating himself. Did you call? I even said, did you call Captain Mahlangu? He said, no, I was not allowed to do that. Did you stop and say something? No, I was not allowed to do that. But if the person is, he was there for fraud, there's evidence that is implicating the person, he's not informed about his rights, that whatever that you are saying can be used against you, and these constitutional rights are not explained. I just about to say that I wanted to give him my side of the story, but Captain Molefe said, no, don't waste my time. Tell me exactly what you told Captain Molefe. That's the evidence before this court, which means, my lord, we are saying the statement that was taken by Colonel Molefe is not what accused number one said. It was a statement that he was told by Captain Molefe, and he tried to tell Colonel Molefe, but Colonel Molefe refused to take that statement. During when Colonel Molefe was taking the statement of accused number one, there's a question whereby they were talking about money. Accused number one asked Colonel Molefe, if I don't have money, what will happen? Colonel Molefe said the state will give you the state attorney. But I even asked, was that not enough to show that the person, this accused number one, wanted to get a legal rep? But Colonel Molefe said no, but he proceeded to take the witness statement. And he also testified that he was intimidated by Colonel Molefe because he said, give me the statement of that you were told by Captain Molefe. Stick to that statement. Colonel Mahlangu, my lord, accused number one testified that he's the only person, the only member of SAPS that gave him his rights. He testified that in the pointing out, my lord, accused number one said, I was doing the pointing out because I was threatened by Colonel Mahlangu, my lord, is the one that went with Sergeant Musila to the police cells a day before the pointing out, a day before the statement was taken. There's evidence, accused number one testified that they went into the cells so that they can, they threatened him and they informed him about the pointing out, that you are taking him for pointing out to the following day and make sure that you are giving us the information. There was that as well, my lord, that came from Sergeant Musila. But Colonel Mahlangu, in his evidence, he said we introduced ourselves as we are supposed to. But when asked about what did Colonel Sergeant Mahlangu say, did you hear him talking about Elizabeth? No. Did you hear him asking questions? No, I didn't hear. But you only heard Sergeant Musila when he was introducing himself. It shows, my lord, that there was no introduction in this matter. They were just saying that because this is what they were supposed to do and they didn't do it. And my lord, it's so surprising that a person can write from Soshanguve to Hammanskraal. He received a call to say accused number one wants to talk to you. Number one, accused number one do not know the jurisdiction. Accused number one do not know that you can only talk to a person, to this person, not to this one. But the call says accused number one wants to talk to you. Number two, a person drove from Soshanguve to Hammanskraal. Upon arrival, when the accused number one says, I want to talk to you, to tell you about the case of murder, he says, no, I can't listen to that one because it's out of, it's a conflict. But that didn't make sense to me. That you can drive that distance and just tell the person that it didn't make sense, it's conflict of interest. It shows that they went there to tell him that we are taking you for pointing out and he's going to give us the pointing out the following day. And my lord, Colonel Mahlangu, he was asked about the pointing out and the statement when those two made. He ended up saying the statement that was made, he said, he said that the only statement was made before and the pointing out after, until he was rectified that no, the pointing out was made before and the only statement was made after. Then with his own mouth, he said, okay, the only statement that was made before, that was made after, I don't know about it. That's what Colonel Mahlangu said. Captain Litsweni, my lord. Colonel Litsweni. Colonel Litsweni is according to accused, is the only police officer who explained his rights. But accused number 1 wanted to give him the statement as to what happened. But Colonel Msweni also said, I'll give you the statement that was you were given by Colonel Captain Molefe. My Lord, all in all, what I'm saying is that the statements that are in this letter, all of them were not properly obtained. The statements, my Lord, we have different statements here, including Shani. Accused was drunk. One of the statements from Captain Molefe, accused was drunk. And there is evidence before this court that accused is not drinking, taking liquor. There is evidence from Colonel Msweni that the accused burned the house with a candle. There is evidence from the pathologist, the postmortem, that the body, the clothes had a smell of paraffin petrol. There is evidence from Chandi that accused number 1 said, I hit him with a bottle, cold, 2-liter bottle of cold drink. I hit him with a bottle because I went too bad. My submission is that which statement is the correct statement here? Because all the statements are not the same melody. Which statement is the court supposed to take? And my Lord, there's this one, the warning statement and the pointing out. Accused was taken for pointing out around 10, according to the evidence. The warning statement was taken the very same day, but around 9 o'clock. This shows that my Lord went to the cells to tell accused number 1 that you are going to give us to take us for pointing out, because they didn't have evidence at that time. My Lord, they were creating evidence to give accused number 1. They took him for pointing out, they took the statement around 9 o'clock. Colonel Molefe do not even remember that the statement was taken around 9 o'clock, around 7 o'clock, so 7 o'clock in the evening. Inasmuch as this court accepted the warning statement of the accused, my Lord, we submit that there are things that were not done properly. The manner in which it was obtained was not done properly. So we request this court to ignore the statement. We are saying that accused cannot be convicted on the statement which was not properly obtained. The evidence of Shandela, can I just quickly go through the evidence of Shandela? He was saying, I met accused number 1, he didn't have the tattoo. And according to accused number 1, he made the tattoo in January when he left here. So according to Shandela, he never saw the tattoos of accused number 1, even though they used to engage, they used to go together to the dyslexic group of accused number 1. He never saw that Chande had the tattoos, accused number 1 had the tattoos, which were also confirmed by the mother of accused number 1, that he had the tattoos. But Chande didn't see all those tattoos, didn't see the one on the face, the new one. And my Lord, evidence of Chande is the evidence of a stealing person, my Lord. And we all know that, my Lord, in terms of Section 208, the court should weigh the evidence of the stealing witness and should consider its merits and demerits, and having done so, should decide whether it is satisfied that the truth has been told despite shortcomings or defects or contradictions in the evidence. My Lord, Chande was taken to Kempton Park. He was dropped at Kempton Park. However, my Lord, he didn't report this to the police officers. Even after his life was not in danger, he raised the fact that he was scared. But after the police officers, he didn't raise that to the police officers. And accused number 1 testified that the reason why Chande can come before this court and Florence indicated it is because of the relationship between because of what is going on currently between Lerato's family and Lerato. So that is why maybe he's before this court to implicate them. We are saying the court can still change his mind, my lord. The court can still change his mind regarding the warning statement that was obtained. We are saying the court must exercise caution against the statement. We are also saying which version is the correct one that the court can still take. We are saying the accused number one is denying the statement that this is not what he said. We are repeating the fact that my lord, the accused number one took a bullet to avoid the situation that was coming of his family being arrested. And we are saying that, my lord, the test is that the state should prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. And before I close, my lord, there is an, in the warning statement, the warning statement exhibit K, my lord. We are saying it was handed over. This was not asked during the cross-examination, but we are saying, Your Worship, the error made in this court cannot make the court to ignore this fact. The fact is that, my lord, when you look at page 2 of the warning statement, paragraph 4 of the warning statement, my lord, according to the warning statement, the police officer that drafted this mentioned that the only place to apply for legal aid practitioner is at court after he was formally charged. My lord, according to this, the police officer was talking to himself. He was not talking as a person that was explaining to accused number one. And we are also saying, my lord, paragraph 2 says, the following transpired as a result of the steps that I had taken. Agreement and understanding reached. We don't know the agreement. We don't know with whom was the agreement reached. We don't even know the contents of the agreement. We are saying, my lord, we request this court to accept this version so that the accused can receive a fair trial according to section 35, subsection 2. And the other thing, my lord, we request this, so we submit that the court take into consideration that when accused number one was going up and down, it is because he was not aware that he was the deceased, and he was not aware that there was a claim against him. The state raised the fact that he didn't tell Old Mushwa that he was alive. At that time, my lord, accused was not aware. Accused became aware of the incident when he was arrested. So it was not easy for him to tell the Old Mushwa that he was arrested. We are saying, my lord, because it's quite true that the accused didn't kill the deceased unlawfully and intentionally so. We are saying accused didn't intentionally conspire with accused number 2 to aid or procure commission of or to commit the offense of murder, as set out of murder. We are also saying, my lord, the accused number 1 didn't unlawfully and falsely intend to fraud and to prejudice or potential prejudice the Old Mushwa. Therefore, my lord, we are saying, based on the evidence that all the submissions made, we request this court to not to fund the accused guilty as charged.
Going to find and finish in the court time. My lord, the state bears the honors to prove the guilt of the accused beyond reasonable doubt. And my lord, in trying to To do so, the state proceeded by calling 17 witnesses, and the evidence is on the record of the into it. I'll just touch on the part of the relevant to the case against the accused number 2. First witness, my lord, Lerato evidence speaks to the communication with the deceased.
You're putting an bill as well.
What?
You're also putting an bill.
In pay for. Yes. Lerato evidence.
You had it from this, right?
Apologies. Yes, the evidence will not speak to her communication with the deceased on the 1st of January 22, and that was until 2200 hours. And the evidence does not implicate accused number 2 in any way. Second witness, June Megan Payfor. The evidence also talks to her last interaction with the deceased and about the fact that she was present when the deceased received a phone call from a non-female person. She doesn't know who the person is. Therefore, evidence as well does not implicate accused number 2 in the commission of this offense she's charged with. Evidence of the third witness, Mrs. Caroline Mahlangu, centers around the family lunch that she had with both accused and other family members. She confirms that accused number 2 left from Mpumalanga after lunch, as she was so told. She further confirms that it is accused number 2 who contacted her and notified her about the fire at Block HH, Soshanguve. She testified that she thought that the person who died in the fire was indeed accused number 1. She further confirms that there was animosity in the family involving accused number 2 during the week leading to the funeral. She further confirms that accused 2 was not given permission to go to the mortuary despite her wishes to do so. That was during the week when she wanted to go. The evidence does not indicate accused number 2 in commission of any offense. Fourth witness, Surprise Mokoto, his evidence is not relevant to accused number 2. Fifth witness, Captain Molefe, evidence not relevant to accused number 2. Sixth witness, Elizabeth Mahlangu, she confirms that after lunch, accused number 2 had to leave from Mpumalanga. She further confirms that accused number 2 contacted her and informed her that she had arrived safely in Mpumalanga, and that the relationship between accused number 2 and her was good. She further testifies that upon arrival at Block HH, after she was notified of the fire with her mother, she was told that accused number 2 was at the back of the house, it was behind the house. She further testified that accused number 2 phoned the mechanic and asked him to stop repairing the vehicle. She further confirmed that the file containing personal information and documents was in the boot of the vehicle. The evidence again does not indicate accused number 2 in commission of any offense. Then we go to Kabelo Mashweni. The evidence in short is that she had a whistle blown and went outside with her husband and saw accused number 1 and 2's house on fire. And the evidence is that it was at around 1 o'clock in the morning. She contacted accused number 2, who told her that she was in Mpumalanga at that time and that she would request the evidence does not implicate accused number 2 in commission of the offense. 8th witness, Dr. Mashia, the evidence speaks to the post-mortem finding and does not implicate anyone in the commission of offense. Edmond Maedi is police officer at the scene, and he was with Sergeant Matawati. Confirmed that it was dark inside the house and that there were no lights. Upon inquiring about the owner, he was told by Tsepo that accused number 2 was actually Malak. Sergeant Matawati's evidence is similar to that of Maedi, and he confirms that when accused number 2 entered the house, it was dark, and that despite being in possession of a torch, it was not used. I remember the court told me on that. 11th witness, Colonel Mkhete, evidence not relevant to accused number 2. And then we have Colonel Molamudi, evidence also not relevant to accused number 2. 14th witness, Colonel Lecholini, evidence not relevant to accused number 2. And then came Mr. Monsami from Old Mutual. He confirmed that the claims were submitted by accused number 2 at Old Mutual, which is not in dispute, is common cause actually, that was admitted. He cannot say whether the accused at the time knew that accused number 1 was alive or not. So his evidence doesn't assist this court any further. Then we go to Mr. Mabena before I go to Shani. I'll go to Mabena first. He confirms that amount of 1,000 rand was transferred from account of accused number 2 to Mr. Shani's account. Then we go to Chanda Shani. I'll also be brief on this one. We submit that his evidence does not assist the state's case in that it does not place the accused at the scene. Chanda alleges that he was with accused number 2 at Block W in February, even though the state is saying it was in January. Actually, he said it was in February, where they talked about the business plan. Having heard that accused number 2 will tell the court that she was admitted at this, and the question was put to him as to whether he called the date in February when he was with accused number 2 at lockdown administration. My Lord, he didn't even want to try to say it was on the 5th, it was on the 6th, just said even it was the first week. And we believe that he was being evasive because now he was already told.
He can't remember the date. He said, but it was all before the deposit of the money.
Yes, my Lord.
And we all know now that the money was deposited in the state.
Yes. But our submission is that he was dodging this question. He didn't want to remember because he had already heard that accused will actually obtain medical records to prove that she was at Vista at that time in February.
And no
Hence, he was not
medical
committed.
records were submitted.
No, but we ended up calling the doctor to
Yeah, but he came here with nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
A person will see how many patients average. And he comes here with not a single document.
But not,
and you want me to put reliance on your evidence.
But not it was put to her.
You are even surprised yourself. But how can he come and testify without bringing the hospital record of your life?
Actually, she was asked the day before, but she said she had all the information.
Yeah, but how practical possible is it?
My Lord, we tried, and it didn't work. She told us that
she came here on a fee. On a fee. You have to pay for a...
No, we didn't pay anything.
Oh, okay.
She was just, we were assisted by the state to subpoena her. Yes. Yeah, he also testified that accused number 2 sent him the money for transport so that he could meet her at Sibusiso. Initially, accused number 2 denied that she even sent the money to him. But after the statements were obtained, her evidence is that now I could see that I had to force myself to pay as to when did I make this transaction and for what purpose it was. Then she could now recall that the purpose for such transaction was for Charlie to buy toiletries as Charlie requested.
That cannot be correct. When Charlie testified, it was, as a matter of fact, to him, so that I could never deposit. Then the forensic officer, Mr. Madena, comes in. We called the documentary evidence, with the transaction and other things. It was not even admitted. It was said that there is a possibility that somebody can use someone's phone to transact because it's a USSD payment device, cell phone payment device. It was never even admitted at the stage when Mabena was here. that this transaction is coming from accused number 2. It's only when accused 2 testified that it says no, that was for creditors. It was admitted for the first time when she came and testified.
That is correct.
Yes.
But the court.
So what inference can I draw from it?
My lord, I'm coming to our address on it. My lord, at that time, Shandi was testifying. She was adamant. She was clear that she never said anything to him. And when the witness came,
it is not evidence that I can't remember this transaction.
Yes.
Because I was in this condition. She said no.
At that time, she said, in her own testimony, she said, I couldn't remember that transaction. Hence, I said, I did not send the money.
That's not what was put to Shandi.
Yes, but
What was put to Shandi, it was said no. There was no amount which was transferred to your account.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct. But she said, I couldn't remember. Remember that
when she testified, it is not what was put to the witnesses who came here and did an investigation and who testified about the money being received. When I think he could have had an opportunity when Mabena was here, because everything was on record. He could have said, but I forgot about the transaction. I can now remember that I made this transaction. But what was put to Mabena was that anybody can do that transaction over the phone. Mabena said yes. So that's why I'm saying, what inference must I draw from that?
My lord, at that time, when Mabena was testifying, she was still not sure that she did the transaction.
Yeah, but there's documentary evidence which was admitted.
Hence, my lord,
it was never disputed.
Hence, my lord, it was put to Mabena whether it is possible that it could have been made by another person. At that time, she had to go and think. And my lord, we are talking about a person who was suffering from severe depression. That's the doctor. At that time, the doctor confirms that this person had to be put through electroconvulsive therapy because of she was severely depressed.
Yeah,
and she also
she was not even part of that process.
Yes, but she was the treating doctor at the time.
No, she didn't even see. She didn't even see the accused after that process.
Yes, but my lord, what she's saying is that
she's just giving a general view of what is supposed to happen after coming from that kind of a process. He doesn't talk to the condition that was experienced by the accused.
Yes, my lord. For her to go through that therapy, for the accused number 2 to go through that therapy, it was all the advice of the very same doctor. Actually, she's the one who got it.
And then how sure are we? Because we don't even have hospital records. You know, in rough matters, you cannot see that the present cargo scale, comma scale was 15 out of 50 without producing hospital records.
Yes, but not in this case.
I can come there and see whatever I wanted to see. Because of the relationship that I've established with my patient.
Yes, but in this case, she gave oral evidence, which has not been disputed.
What was difficult for her to do in the hospital? Because we knew when she was coming that she was going to prevent evidence of hospital.
But if I didn't want to talk better about someone else, but
but
that issue was taken up with her a day before, in the presence of the state, the IO. She refused point blank to say, I cannot bring the file, I know everything from my head. We requested.
And then we are talking about the incident that took place in 2022. She came here to testify 2 years and some couple of months after. 10 months to be specific.
My Lord, the assumption is that she must have gone through the file before she came to testify.
That's not it.
As she said, I know everything off my head.
That's not evidence that she revisited the file.
Yes, but my Lord, that's evidence that was not disputed.
Yes.
Thank you. Furthermore, Shanda testifies that
Shanda
testifies that the purpose for the purpose of that money was for him to travel to Secunda to meet with the accused. Accused number 2. But my lord, even the doctor confirmed that accused number 2 was a visitor at the time. So it doesn't make sense that I will ask someone, I'll give someone money to come and visit me at Mpumalanga while I'm here in Victoria. The doctor was at Vista, I mean, the accused was at Vista, at Centurion. So it doesn't make sense. The evidence of Charlie doesn't make sense at all. Yes. Furthermore, the evidence of Charlie suggests that accused number 2 knew at around the 13th of February 2022 that accused 1 was alive. But my lord, it's our submission that that evidence does not prove that accused number 2 murdered the deceased or conspired with accused number 1 or any other person to murder the deceased. Furthermore, the timing suggests that
For how long did the doctor say that accused number 2 was admitted elsewhere?
according to the doctor, she was admitted on the 6th of February. She saw her on the 7th, and she was discharged on the 21st of January. I mean, February. Furthermore, my lord, we submit that the timing also suggests that if the evidence of Charlie is to be accepted, that the accused knew by 13th of February that accused number 1 was alive, that, my lord, doesn't prove that at the time the insurance claim she was submitted, she was already aware that accused number 1 was alive. At that time, she maintained that in her mind, accused number 2 was deceased.
What are you saying about the coincidence that they happen to change their numbers almost at the same time?
My lord, it is her evidence, and I believe it was, I believe she placed this one about that she lost one of her phones.
Yeah, no, certainly she went to the family after the burial. That's when she realized. But why should the phones of the two accused at the same time happen not to be available?
My lord, this seems to happen. I mean, she said I lost the
No,
phone.
but we know for the reason that accused wanted to find himself outside. Accused number 2 was there, and then she left after being with the family. But what surprising is this coincidence. At the same time, their numbers are not known.
But my lord, accused number 1's phone, when it stopped working from the 1st of, or the 2nd of
Yeah.
January 2022.
And then accused number
Accused number 2,
after burial.
it was after burial.
Yes, the 7th. That is why you get lost. When he was anti-mama, seeing now is anti-mama.
But my lord, she also explained that she could not do SIM swap because the phone was not linked. The SIM card is one of those SIM cards that you buy from the street. So there was no way she could go and obtain SIM swap and use the same one. She explained that. And she decided then to say, let me use the router SIM card. And she's been using that. And the family
Which happened only to be known by accused number 1.
they were very
Yes, I don't have a problem. The person who didn't talk to him for almost a year, and then went on his arrest, he phoned on that number.
No, that is the number that he knew. And that is his evidence to say, I tried the first number, it was not working. Then I tried this second number that I knew. And it happened to be the SIM card that was used in the Wi-Fi route. So he must try this luck and very important that he was able to go through. Now, my lord,
And then why did he has to phone accused? Because according to him, there was over between them. And there was Mbali in her life, there was this other lady. Who's that? Buns. Buns, yeah. Why when you are arrested, you think about the person that you don't want her to be part of your life?
only I just know how I can explain that. Speak for you. Then, my lord, the state was the court to draw an inference that by looking at the evidence on record, the accused are the people who killed the accused, the deceased. It is accused number 2's version that she was not present when the deceased died and that she does not even know how he died.
Yeah, you must remember he's not charged by directly killing them,
Yes.
but because he conspired or something.
About according to I'm going to skip some minutes. Yes, my lord. She said she does not even know how it died. And she denies that she conspired with anyone to kill the deceased. So far, my lord, I agree with respect that there is no evidence to suggest that she knew. The court, the state will also rely on circumstantial evidence, and